The combat in Final Fantasy XVI is varied and has tons of options for you to explore, and after hours and hours of gameplay and experimenting with the combat, I decided to show you my favorite skills and icons, as well as how to use them and when. Keep in mind that I'm not rating the skills on a specific order, and I am just going to cover their importance, as well as why do I believe that these setups are the best in the game. First off, Garuda must always be equipped because of how important its iconic feat is, and since iconic feats can't be assigned to other icons, this makes this one a very essential one, because Deadly Embrace has tons of uses, from extending your aerial combos to performing takedowns once the enemy's stagger bar reaches to 50%, leaving the enemies open for quite a bit of time, and it is why I like to call it a mini stagger. The first skill I like to equip for this icon is Gouge. Gouge is a multi-hitting skill that decreases the enemy's stagger bar by a lot, with a decent recast time as well. What's good about it too is that you have plenty of time to charge your burning blade during the animation, making for a good follow-up. The other skill is obviously Aerial Blast. It is the best staggering ability in the game by far, since it summons a tornado that causes damage to whoever is inside it, and it stays for a long time, just to try to keep the enemies within it, to combo them while inside the tornado, to maximize its potential. My only issue with this skill is that you won't be able to see the enemies inside it, so pay extra attention to not get hit by them while they're in it. The other icon I love to equip is her boyfriend, Titan. All thanks to the ability to block all the incoming attacks using Titanic Block. Mastering Precision Block is not only satisfying but also very rewarding, since the counter follow-up that you can do after blocking the enemy's attack at the right time is very strong, and it takes a decent amount of their stagger bar. The abilities that I use for this icon is Windup and Raging Fist, but let's talk about Windup first. Windup is one of the strongest abilities damage-wise, even if it doesn't stagger much, but the damage it does is insane, and I love to use it after I stagger an enemy. Raging Fist is absurd. It has a very fast recast time, and if timed right with the enemy's attacks, not only it parry them, but it also follow up with a strong multi-hit attack that does a big damage and stagger damage. Using it by itself isn't as effective though, so I would only use it to parry enemies' attacks. So ultimately, I only like to use Titan as a parrying machine, and wind up after staggering an enemy. These are the only two big reasons why I use this icon. The third icon I also always have equipped, since it is the most fun, is Odin, but my setup has a nice little trick to it that adds a lot to this amazing icon. You always want to charge up Odin's Zantetsuken bar, which can be done by drawing its sword and use normal attacks, or by doing Flash of Steel, using Odin's abilities and parrying to Steel counter. Once the Zantetsuken bar is charged up, you can perform up to level 5 Zantetsuken, which is what you are aiming to build up to unleash one of the strongest attacks in the game. Skills that I use for this icon are Dancing Steel and Gigaflare, and I'll tell you why. But first, let's cover Dancing Steel. Dancing Steel has a long casting animation, but it is the fastest way to charge up Zantetsuken, and as soon as you find an opening, just use it at the right moment. The other skill I have is Gigaflare, taken from Bahamut by mastering the ability. The reason why I assigned it to Odin is because I didn't have more room to fit in this amazing skill, and Odin really didn't need another ability to be equipped beside Dancing Steel. If we stagger an enemy, use Zantetsuken and Gigaflare, that would make the craziest combination of abilities you could ever have. So if we combine all the abilities in the video, what kind of damage could I get? I would be using Titan to parry and cause stagger damage as much as I can, while keeping the base damage abilities for staggered enemies. Keep in mind this is how I approach the game, and it is still early in its lifespan, so I'm sure more combinations will show up, and I absolutely can't wait to see what other players actually come up with. I really hope you found the video fun and educational in a sense. If you have any questions or things to add, make sure to leave it in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And as always, thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more Final Fantasy XVI content.